Hey people, Fernando doing another video for the channel regarding Star Citizen, the starter guide for 3.18. Welcome, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you haven't seen the previous videos and if it's your first time considering or playing Star Citizen, go back and watch part 1 and 2. I explain what this is about, my suggestion in terms of best starter ship for you, which by the way is the Aurora MR, and the best starting place. You know, pretty much avoid Horizon, pretty much everything else is okay. Lorville is lacking a gun store, but Area 18 would be the one I recommend the most and where I am right now. So, starter guide and actual playing. You start by pressing Y and that gets you out of your little bed. You're in your habitation hub. You move around with WSAD. And that's how you move freely around the world. There's no loading screens, there's nothing like that, which is very cool. You do die a lot, so get used to the idea, and you do lose all of your crap a lot, especially at first when you happen to, yes, die a lot. So get over it, treat everything as disposable. That is my advice. I'll teach you how to get all the gear you could possibly want, and it's kind of refreshing to, you know, rotate and have a bunch of different stuff all the time and just put together, you know, crazy little setups. The other key you want to keep in mind is F. F is what you use to interact with the world. You can just keep F pressed and, for example, press open, and you can just tap on F and interact with whatever is around you. The other one you want to keep in mind is I. With I, you go into your inventory. Whatever stuff you have from your hangar, whatever stuff you got there that you bought eventually or whatnot, yeah, you will have it here when you click on F, on I. And I allows you to move around. You have your local here, you have your armor, which I don't have any. You have your undersuit. Now, in terms of playing a game that is in space, you always want to have an undersuit on you, and you want to have a helmet. You cannot put a helmet on unless you have an undersuit. These two work together. You can remove it, but you cannot wear a helmet without the undersuit, without the space suit. Once you have your space suit and your your undersuit and your helmet, you can put armor on top of you, right? If you want to use normal clothing like this, you have to remove your undersuit and your helmet. You cannot use these along with normal clothes. Now, if you're in a planet that has atmosphere, perfectly fine. Use just normal clothing. One of the things that happens to people at first is people forget that they're not wearing their undersuit and their helmet, and they die of they asphyxiate, they die because they don't have their helmet in space. So usually just try to stick with some kind of undersuit and some helmet. If you die and there's nothing for you, you will be provided a little corny white suit and helmet so as to move around. In terms of going out and buying stuff, my advice is don't waste your money. Money is going to be much better spent being saved up to buying ships, which, yeah, we'll do that soon enough if you know how to play, and I'll teach you how to do that. But don't buy guns, armor, that sort of thing. Even the best ones, they will be found, not bought in stores. So press F or, you know, just tap on it and you will open your door. Now, wherever it is that you are, usually it's the same thing. You have to leave your habitation building and you have to find some transportation, either a train or a shuttle or something. Lots of elevators, lots of shuttles. So you have to leave your main building, right? If it's not working correctly, just long press on F and left click on the button, and that will call your elevator. Wherever it is that you are, you usually have to take, I mean, not usually, you always have to take some public transportation to the spaceport. So leave your building, start walking around and find where the train station stop or the shuttle stop is, and, you know, learn your way. Usually you will have some kind of sign telling you where to go. Area 18 happens to be very nice. It looks like a little bit of a cyberpunk feel to it. That is the shuttle that you want to take so as to get to your spaceport. Your ship, yes, will be in your spaceport. This is the habitation, Adira Falls Apartments. That's where we just came out of. And you have Cuddy Blast, which is a gun store. You have Casaba, which is just clothes, and you can buy those. Not really necessary. You can walk around naked pretty much. And here's where you buy your guns and you buy your armor and so on. You will just go here, interact, F, and you select whatever guns you want to buy. Again, my advice, don't waste time with that. Now, you probably want to get a multi-tool, the Gray Cat multi-tool with the tractor beam attachment, not the cutter, not the oxy-torch, not the mining one. No, buy the Pyro multi-tool. Let's do that right now. You buy the Pyro multi-tool, and you have to buy the attachment. This is kind of important gear, and you can find it in mining outposts, but let's buy one here just so as to show you how this goes. It's gonna be usually in personal weapons, which is kind of weird, but silencers and sound suppressors, they actually can be quite useful in just keeping your location hidden. So if you want to get one of those, it's not the worst thing you can spend money on. But try to control your spending habits. So this is a true hole tractor beam. This is the one you want to get. And probably if you visit one or two mining stations, which we'll do later, you will find tons of these things. That's my advice. If you want to buy something, I mean, let's just get, just because, let's get one of these sound suppressors. Probably have enough ammunition in my gun for any beginner's mission. But yeah, you can get yourself one of the sound suppressors for your handgun. Let's buy that, and let's use that opportunity to show you how it is that you interact with that. Pressing I, you will have your weapons, and you have your gun right there. It's very intuitive. You just drag and drop it right there, or you can even just double click on it, and it will automatically set it on wherever gun would fit. Right, that is how you go. You have your little med pen. That's something you will have to learn how to use. Let's go into utility, and we set up our mining, our Pyro multi-tool, and we set up the tractor beam. The tractor beam, you can access it by clicking on 4, and this allows you to move around stuff, especially if you want to move, for example, a body. Right, you want to move a body onto your ship, which is something you probably want to learn how to do, because that's the way in which you drag stuff without using the ship inventory. Little tricks that you learn as you keep on playing. If we go this way, we go into Astro Armada, where you can buy ships. Not exactly what we're doing right now, because you need quite a bit of money. You can earn a ton of money rather easily in this game. But you also have Dumpster Depot. That's where you find ship components, and some of those ship components can be quite useful. Let me just show you Astro Armada. Since we're taking our time here, we're not rushing things. Following this guy who is pretty much doing the same thing as we are, but since I'm not wearing heavy armor, I run a little bit faster than he does, so be beating him to it. So here's where you have all of the ships, and since this is the PTU, I have a little bit of money, so I could buy something here. Usually when you start playing this, you will have very little. You will have nothing. Remember to use the referral code, which will give you a little bit more extra money. But yeah, some of these smaller ships are quite affordable, especially the land vehicles like the STV. These things are quite affordable, but the bigger ones, it starts getting expensive. But you can make a ton of money if you know how to play the game, and that's where I'm gonna help you out. Now in this part, I'll explain you the basics of moving around, learning your way around. Have a lot of patience. Just go explore. It's fun enough as it is, and there's really not a whole lot more rather than exploring and doing these things. So don't rush it. If you rush it, you're just ruining your own experience here. You do need food and water, and you will have indicators there on the bottom left telling you when stuff is not so good, when you need water. You can die if you don't have enough food. Eventually, as you see, this is the Arcor Plaza. There's a trade center there for selling stuff. Over there in that building, there's a center mess where they sell ship weapons and personal weapons. You just go in there and take the elevator. But right now we're going to a spaceport, because you're probably wondering, how is it that I get out of here and go into space, which is perfectly understandable. You see lots of advertising and stuff. Get used to the elevators, get used to the trains and stuff like that. Get used to maybe, yes, waiting a little bit here and there. In terms of your weapons, you have different size of weapons. For example, this one, the SMG, it is something that if you check here, you see that the size of the barrel is size 1, so it shares the same suppressor as your pistol. Now let's just leave that there and take it along with us, since we are just taking a a train ride. Everything you have in your inventory is local to that specific city or spaceport. You have to make sure that you are in the right location, because if not, your gear will not be there. This is all, as it says right there, it is all local. So when you have, and yeah, as I was saying before, probably even better moving around this, leaving it there, and that gun's gonna be a little bit more useful. And yeah, that's gonna be it. Now, if you start with your little Aurora MR, there's not a whole lot of dragging piles of bodies, 10, 12 corpses, but you want to have your basic setup. So maybe a couple missions will allow you to get sorted out in terms of gear. I'll do a mission after this video. This video is going to be limited to showing you how to get yourself to your spaceport and claim your ship so as to go out and about. The following video, I'll tell you the first mission that I suggest doing when you start playing Star Citizen. So follow that, and as always, subscribe to the channel. Thumbs up is always very much appreciated if you're new to the game. Yeah, I've been playing it for quite a while, so I know a thing or two that will benefit you. I've also noticed that many content creators, I don't know if it's that they're not playing the game or they don't know exactly many of these things, but often the case that not always is it that you're getting the best advice, especially some of the starter guides that I've seen around. So yeah, I actually have some better tips, especially in terms of how to earn money in game. Usually it's gonna be combat beacons. Really, that's maybe the best way to earn money. And some people will say, I'm not into combat, that's not my thing. Well, make it your thing, because that's the best way to buy the ships that you want. You want to get yourself to these screens, to these monitors, and here you interact with these, and here you will have your little starter ship, which is perfectly fine. You retrieve your ship, right? You retrieve your ship, and you're told where your ship is, right? And my ship is right now Hangar 2. I even have a marker. Now, let's say I just landed my ship. Well, it will be automatically stored, but even better, come here and store your ship. That's how you're sure that it's not going anywhere. Let's say I just landed my ship, I come back here, and I store my ship. Once it's stored, it's perfectly fine. Even the loot that I have in the ship, whatever contents I have in my ship, any cargo that I have in my ship, once I'm doing that, it will be saved right there. So I have a few ships. This is the PTU, and you're giving ships and so on. But let's go and take our little, well, not so little. Let's go with the, let's take the Anvil C8R, the little Pisces ship. It's a fun little ship, and you can buy one of these very quickly in the game. It's just a matter of knowing how to earn money. So we're being told Hangar 01. That's where we're going, okay? Before we go, you may want to buy a little bottle of water or food. You can buy it there. There's a bunch of these little stores around. I have actually, in the Pisces C8R, you have a little fridge, which is, unique. You don't have that in all ships, but it's not something I need to buy right now. Anyway, just keep that in mind. And again, my advice, don't start buying crap right away. Hangar 01, that's where we're going. Alright, these are usually quite fast. They used to be super slow, so don't rush it. Enjoy the ride, look around, and see everything the game has to offer. Ships here are beautiful. By far the best thing in Star Citizen, the wonderful ships. Even with your basic little ship with a couple size 1 guns, you can do a lot. You can do even moderate combat missions just to earn quite a bit of money. We open our ramp. All of these ships are different. So in your Aurora, you will have a little window on the side. F long, press on F, interact, open, and you enter your ship. Right? Once you do that, I'll explain you how is it that you open those doors so as to leave. Right? And then we'll do a little bit of basic flying around and so on. So we're sitting here, and we have to learn how to use some of the basics. Enter pilot seat. We enter the pilot seat, unless this has just crashed, which fortunately not, it didn't, just lagged a little bit. And the quickest way to get going, just tap on R. R will turn on pretty much everything that you have here, depending on the ship model. Long pressing F, you can interact with some of these buttons. You can turn off things, open doors, open exterior, so you have some physicalized buttons, and you can turn off the engine with I. Tapping I turns it off, tapping I again turns it off again. Now, what you want to do now is learn to use your Mobi glass. That's going to be on F1. F1 gives you your Mobi glass, which is kind of like your cell phone, and you're going to go here, Comlink. In Comlink, you're going to Friends, and Friends, you're going to Area Landing Services. Once you click with that, you interact, means it opens your hangar. Same thing for landing. You just get close to the space station, to spaceport F1, and request landing, and you'll get a little marker for you to land your ship. Once you land, it will automatically close. You go to that monitor, and your ship is stored. That's basically how this works. Now, once we are here with the doors open, you have to learn how to use all your camera options. For that, you have F4. F4 allows you to look around from the outside. Keep pressing Z. It allows you to move around. As soon as you release Z, you're not moving around anymore. You're moving the actual ship. But long press on Z, you move around freely. And back to F4, we go back to the inside. Now everything is on. Using your space bar, you'll go up a little bit. F4 again, so as to appreciate how that's going on. N allows you to retrieve your landing gear, bring it up. And just as always, forward, backwards, A, S, D, W. And using your mouse, you fly around for the first time in Star Citizen, which is kind of an experience. It's actually kind of fun. So for now, that's going to be it, guys. This is going to be part, part 3 of this series. Part 4 is going to be more of flying around and doing our first mission. Take care. See you on the next one.